How Much Land Does a Man Need? A Beautiful Story by Leo Tolstoy. Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by green fields and tall mountains, there lived a poor and simple farmer named Rohan. He owned a small piece of land where he grew enough food to feed himself. Though his life was peaceful and content enough, Rohan often dreamed of having more land, more crops, and more riches. One day, a wealthy merchant came to the village and told Rohan about a distant kingdom where the king had a special offer. For just 10 gold coins, the merchant said, you can own as much land as you can walk around in one day. But there is one rule. You must return to your starting point before sunset. If you fail, you will lose everything. Rohan's eyes sparkled with excitement. This is my chance to become the richest farmer in the land, he thought. So without hesitation, he sold his small farm, gathered his savings, and set off on his journey. When he arrived in the kingdom, the king's men took him to a vast, open plain. Mark your land by walking, they said. But remember, if you do not return by sunset, you will lose all the land. The following day, as the sun rose, all excited and ready for the challenge, Rohan started walking, marking the land he wanted. At first, he moved at a steady pace, choosing a reasonable amount of land. But soon he saw a beautiful river. His greed took over, and he thought, if I go a little further, I can have water on my land. So he walked further. Then he spotted a forest. If I own that forest, I will have plenty of wood for my home. He kept going. As the sun climbed higher, Rohan realized he had covered a great distance. His legs felt heavy and his feet ached. But he felt it wasn't enough. He wanted more land. He looked ahead and saw rolling hills. If I own those hills, my land will be the biggest in the village, he thought to himself. So greedy for more, he kept walking. Suddenly, he noticed the sun beginning to set. Panic filled his heart. He had walked too far, and if he did not return in time to the starting point like the king's men had warned him, he would lose everything. So he turned back and ran as fast as he could, his breath coming in short gasps. Sweat dripped from his face, and his legs burned with pain. The villagers and the king's men watched as Rohan struggled back. The sun was sinking lower and lower. His heart pounded as he pushed himself forward. With one last, desperate effort, he reached the starting point just as the sun disappeared behind the horizon. A smile formed on his lips, but the strain was too much. He collapsed to the ground, exhausted. His heart had worked too hard, that he could not rise again as he breathed his last. The king's men shook their heads sadly. They dug a small grave and buried him right where he fell. In the end, the only land Rohan truly needed was the 6 feet of earth where he was laid to rest. Moral of the story: greed can blind us to what truly matters in life. If Rohan had been content with what he had, he would have lived happily. But his endless desire for more cost him everything and even his own life. True wealth is not in land or riches, but in happiness, good health, and the love of family and friends.